Good morning, class 8. Now we are going to learn condensation. In your last class, you have learned evaporation and boiling and the difference between these two. Now we are going to learn condensation. What is condensation? The condensation is the opposite of boiling. Okay. In condensation, we are the process of a gas turning into a liquid. Gas turning into a liquid by giving out heat energy. How these things happen? See, in gas the particles have very less force of attraction and very big space in between the atoms, but in liquid it is just the opposite. Force of attraction increases and the space between the atoms decreases. Why these things happen? See, it is given here. When a gas is cooled, the freely moving particles start losing kinetic energy. That means they lose kinetic energy and slow down. Then the forces of attraction between the particles become strong. That is needed to become a liquid from a gas. Okay. So now the attraction is strong enough to hold them together, and the gas begins to condense into a liquid. The example of this, you can say that when cloud forms or formation of dew, this you can take as the example of condensation. Next is melting. Okay, what is melting? Melting or fusion is a change of state from solid to liquid. You know what is the melting? If you take an ice cube on a plate, after some time you can see that the ice cube is not there. What is there in place of the ice cube? Water, but in 0 degree centigrade. Okay, how these things happen? See, it is given here. When a solid is heated, the particles gain energy and break free of the structure. At that time, what happens? That the kinetic energy of the atoms increases. When the kinetic energy increases, they started movement. When the kinetic energy increases, they started movement, and that is the reason why the space between the atom increases. When the space between the atom increases, okay, and the bonding also decreases between the atom. So now they are free. Now they are free to move around and the solid melts. At the time of melting, energy is used to change the arrangement of the particle inside the body. Arrangement of the particle, okay, then increasing the random movement. That is, all the energy is used to separate the particles enough so that they can flow over one another. Okay, they can flow over one another, that they can spread easily. So they are converting into liquid. Okay, what is melting point? Melting point is a temperature. It is a fixed temperature at which a solid changes completely into a liquid. Solid changes completely into a liquid is called the melting point. Next, solidification or freezing. What is solidification or freezing? It is just the opposite of the melting. The change of state from liquid to solid by releasing the heat. By releasing of the heat is called the freezing. Same thing, just in opposite way is happening. A solid, when the liquid is converting into solid, it is cooling down. Liquid is cooling down, so the kinetic energy is loss means the kinetic energy they are losing. Okay, so what is happening? The particles in a liquid only have enough energy to slide past one another. Cooling lower energy and locks them into fixed position where they continue to vibrate as the liquid freezes to a solid. You can take example as molten wax, that is given here. You can see that it slowly solidifies by giving off the heat to the surrounding. The temperature remains same, it do not change. it do not change. Now what is freezing point? Same thing, it is a constant temperature at which a liquid changes to solid is called the freezing point. Now the thing that is we are going to learn, that is sublimation. You have seen that naphthalene, if you take naphthalene in a place, after 2 or 3 days, if you keep it in open, after 2 or 3 days it will not be there, it will be vanished. Why? Because the solid will be converted into gas. There is no the middle state, that is liquid. It will directly convert into gaseous state. This process is known as sublimation. And what is deposition? Deposition is just the opposite of sublimation. The change of state from a gas to a solid directly without going through the liquid state is called the deposition. When you can see deposition, see in cold weather, when water vapor in the air comes into contact with a window, we can see that it is directly we can see the water droplet on the window, glass of the window. Okay, these are the deposition from water vapor to liquid. And then what happened? Then actually we cannot see the water vapor. Actually we can see in this thing that in form of ice, in form of snow there. Okay, so this is, they are converting from water vapor to a solid, water vapor to solid.